We acknowledge and respect the Lekwungen, Songhees, and Esquimalt peoples on whose territory the university stands, and the Lekwungen and Wasanich peoples whose historical relationships with the land continue to this day. When we think of drawing in school, most of us picture art class, paints and pencils, and creative projects. But what is often overlooked by teachers and students is that drawing is not just for artistic endeavors. Drawing can be a powerful learning tool, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. Drawing beyond art class, why drawing should be used as a learning tool. People use so many different tools to think and learn more effectively. These are called cognitive tools. They are things that help our brain make sense of the world. Throughout history, humans have created tools to support or offload mental work like remembering, calculating, reasoning, imagining, and communicating. Some of these tools include spoken and written language or numbers for math, but today we're focusing on another powerful cognitive tool, drawing. We'll be talking about how drawing can support learning through the engagement of cognitive processes, how drawing can support learning diversity, and how drawing can be used to stretch beyond Western knowledge and act as a tool for honoring Indigenous ways of knowing. First, we'll be talking about how drawing supports the cognitive side of learning. Using drawing as a cognitive tool can help support students learn by means of engaging multiple cognitive processes like creativity, memory, and complex cognitive processes like knowledge construction. So let's start by addressing the obvious. Drawing promotes creativity, and creativity is a key part of learning in classrooms. It supports original thinking, imagination, and problem solving by encouraging divergent thinking, where students can be original, flexible, and fluent as they brainstorm multiple solutions to a problem. Drawing offers an accessible, alternative way for students to use their imagination and engage in creative, divergent thinking while tackling classroom questions and problem solving tasks. Drawing can also give us an insight into how visual and verbal perception interacts with the many components of the memory system. When students are processing verbal and visual information in their brain to make sense of it, they can use drawing to engage in an active learning process of transforming an internal model of understanding into an external one, or in other words, making the invisible visible. This engages the working memory in 3 general steps. First, students have to select the pertinent and important information. Second, they organize it so that it makes sense. Third, they integrate verbal knowledge into a visual internal model. And finally, the students will then use drawing to give us the external model. As the information is transformed into both internal and external models, multiple parts of the working memory system are engaged. This helps ease the transfer of information from working or short-term memory to long-term memory, which helps students better retain and remember that knowledge. This shows how drawing can be used as an effective mnemonic strategy for students. Mnemonics can be likened to the art of memorization because they are specific and creative learning strategies learners can develop to help with retention of information. Alongside helping students remember, drawing also aids in understanding, as students actively engage their brain in the learning process to construct their own understanding of knowledge. This plays into the concept of constructivism, a mode of learning that suggests students take an active role in constructing their own understanding. Constructivism also stresses the importance of social processes in learning, and drawing is also a great social tool because it is a method of communication between students and teachers. Through the process of creating an external visualization, 2 purposes can be achieved. First, the student constructs a mental model and therefore is constructing their own knowledge. And second, the student produces a visual outcome that communicates and demonstrates that knowledge to other people. The focus of this video so far has been on the cognitive aspects of drawing, but in reality, drawing is so much more than that. Drawing honors diversity of learning in the classroom because rather than being a useful tool for the average student, drawing can be used in classrooms to accommodate a range of individual ability and differences. Drawing is an accessible learning tool available to almost all individuals at any level of cognitive function or able-bodiedness. There is no wrong way to draw. Even when students are off tasks, drawing can give teachers an insight into the internal world of the student. Drawing can also be used as an alternative method of assessment. This allows students to demonstrate their understanding of learning separate from or in combination with verbal explanation or reflection, which can be a great option for students with different learning abilities, such as those with dyslexia or reading and writing challenges, or those who otherwise struggle with more traditional methods of assessments. Perhaps those who come from different cultural backgrounds or speak multiple languages as well. The reason for all this is because drawing can transcend language. Drawing can be used as a cross-cultural learning tool, which means, similar to languages, people in cultures all around the world use drawing as a tool for cognition, expression, and communication. Students can use drawing in the school and the broader context of life to express themselves without the limitation of language or spoken word. Drawing is a diverse and accessible method for learning and teaching because it's a holistic tool that supports development for all students by engaging not only cognitive and intellectual skills, but also emotional, sensory motor skills, social skills, and spiritual attributes. Drawing is a gift of human nature that serves learning far beyond the traditional classroom setting, and it's applicable to the broader context of life. This all-encompassing nature of learning shows how drawing can be used in the classroom and life to honor Indigenous ways of knowing and First Peoples learning principles. Drawing is an individual creative practice, and it lends itself well to a priority in Indigenous ways of knowing about a focus on teaching people, not subject. The flexible and adaptable ways that drawing can be used in learning to cater to the learner creates opportunities for meaning making. Drawing can be a means of using and improving sensory motor skills in children and adults, and can also be an avenue for expressing emotion and spirituality. This illustrates First Peoples' learning principle of connectedness, reciprocal relationships, sense of place, and learning that focus on teaching skills applicable to the self, life experience, and our place in the community and the world. Drawing can also be used to explore one's identity and connect to one's place in the world. I can speak from personal experience that drawing has taught me insightful perspectives on my own understanding of the world. Drawing from observation has taught me to perceive and understand the world differently. I've learned to see objects and scenes not for what they represent, but for what they're made up of in line, shape, value, and form, coming together to create something that I can understand. I hope this video has helped give you some perspective on why drawing should be used as a learning tool in classrooms. Drawing can make the unseen seen. It can provide valuable insight into the internal perception someone has of the external world, or concepts and knowledge, in a way that almost nothing else can. Drawing can go beyond the limitations of language or words and can be an effective and beautiful avenue for self-expression, creating learning opportunities for students across a spectrum of ability. Drawing can teach the value of different perspectives and is applicable in real-life contexts outside of learning environments, acting as a tool for honoring Indigenous ways of knowing and integrating Indigenous teachings and values into classrooms. Drawing is valuable not just as a tool for creativity and art, but also as a versatile and vital tool in the learning box that teachers, students, and everyone can use in their everyday life. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed and were able to take something away from it.